tell you the answer. Feel a scream. Miserable cries suddenly came from the depths of the alley. Okay, likes to fight injustice. Venom immediately said to check it out. So when Eddie, looking for a sound, he came to a dark warehouse. It turned out that this place is full of dogs that keep screaming. When you see the scoreboard on the ground, Eddie immediately realized this turned out to be a family underground dogfighting. And sooner rather than later, just when both Eddie and Venom started to rage, arrogant local snakes also just arrived. They told Eddie to get out of his place, otherwise send him back to the same place. And Eddie said, let the dog go and I'll. Eddie, who soon turns into Venom, just cleaned up all the gangsters in an instant and released all the dogs. Who knew that when the two were making history before there was an accident? After eating and drinking, Eddie and Venom again, they went on their escape. The journey, however, the two were there is a terrifying monster behind, has been quietly staring at them. Venom expressed a desire to travel to New York. Pay tribute to the muse in your heart. News laugh Eddie. Laughed at him immediately. A superhero who can't fly. How to get there? Soon after, he was slapped in the face by Independence. Helpless, Venom had to completely transform unexpectedly. Instead, it attracted the fire of killing itself. The monster that followed. Suddenly, it ejected. Moments from the ground, jumped to the top of the passenger plane. Now even Venom sees this vast continent. All were breathing on the spot. I sees monster trail straight towards himself. He rushed back the attack. But soon, the other party immediately turned around and grabbed him. Venom quickly stretched its arms and stuck to the plane. And the monster was caught red-handed by the plane's engine. A tie on the foot. I thought the crisis was over. Who knew this time? Venom says it wants to disappear. Without waiting for Eddie to react, he immediately retreated to his courtroom. Fortunately, at a critical moment, Venom turned into a parachute in time. Eddie this to land smoothly in an awkward position. But only then, Venom told him a cruel truth. It turned out that he just chased an alien creature called a consciousness hunts. Kill symbionts like him. The goal is to find the legendary codex, and thus released from captivity on the planet Clinter, god of symbionts. That, as the creator of all symbiotic and conscious beings, there is not only the power of creation, it has the ability to manipulate dark matter. If he is successfully released, take advantage of the situation. All rebel symbionts suffer. The entire universe would be devastated, and the key to freeing Nell, it's inside Eddie's body right now. Venom told Eddie, only when the host dies, the life energy of the symbiote and the host, after merging into form a codex, and the code inside them, it was formed in the war of money and riot. Sage is hunting us and worse. As long as they fully transform, conscious bodies will generate electricity through their bodies. It's over. Without the help of total Venom, how are they going to get out of this alive? The desolate Gobi Desert. Fortunately, in the next second, Eddie immediately saw hope. I saw Eddie reaching out for a dozen. I just remembered the pony like Shazam. In an instant, it became a moving battle method. Then a dozen Venoms pull Eddie on his sonic gun. When the Venom saw this, he had to quickly go into the soldiers' arms to the teeth immediately. Switched to diving Shanghai. They jumped into the water and started chasing them. Seeing Eddie being entangled by soldiers, Venom quickly stretched its body. The next second, consensus consciousness discovered the text and then he jumped to the scene in an instant. At the same time, transform into complete Venom. Being besieged by soldiers. Watching the conscious body kill, Eddie hurriedly let the Venom disarm the transformation. Consciousness that has lost the codex immediately traced the target to the soldier in the water. Eddie takes advantage of the chaos to escape. But where have the soldiers seen such a terrifying officer? They turned their guns and shot wildly at the conference room. As a result, he was grabbed by the conference room body in the next slide fried paper. Eddie, who finally escaped. I had to walk barefoot in the direction of New York. Unexpectedly, just when he was hungry, I happened to meet a group of families who were out. Host Martin kindly handed Eddie a meal. Never thought. Venom, who was never jealous, turned his head and SDC. They came as a family in search of legendary aliens and expressed that he could drop by the Las Vegas closest to New York. Is that so? There is an alien Eddie drilled inside. Embarrassing. Fortunately, Venom doesn't. So the crowd was laughing and laughing. Start towards Vegas. However, what no one noticed was, right after they left, the consciousness that has long been stirred to pieces. This is actually visible to the naked eye. Back to life. However, when Eddie took a lot of effort to get to Las Vegas, it turned out that for $20 and a pair of ribbed sandals, they were never going to make it to New York. Eddie is going to steal a Misu 7. Venom is recommended. The only 20 yuan left goes to the nearby game. They just walked through the front door. The back foot was kicked out by security. Eddie is very depressed. Why is it a resort hotel? But let tourists wear formal clothes. Who knew that when he flooded in place? A drunk man not far away caused poison. Attention to liquid. Then they came behind the man. After seeing the opponent's punch suddenly, he succeeded in obtaining a suit, a pair of leather shoes. When Eddie walked into the casino, hands as bad as the night, the breath instantly made him lose. Right right in the venom. When the red and warm one is about to cut the next to the game console, not far away. But there was another familiar voice. Eddie looked around. That was his old acquaintance, Mrs. Chen. Really, fellow see fellow. 2 tears. With the help of Mrs. Chen, Eddie finally collects the entanglement to go to New York. However, happy, Venom is still uncontrollable and a passionate kiss. And it was no surprise. Sensing the codex, emerging consciousness, the body immediately rushed all the way in the direction. And at the same time, already passed. Surveillance found Eddie. The military on the trail is also out. The council still arrived a step ahead of schedule. Seeing the other party coming towards him, Eddie hurriedly let the Venom lift the transformation. He told Mrs. Chen to keep calm because the parliamentary body cannot sense the existence. Like when Eddie woke up again, I found myself trapped, locked in the lab at Area 51. What surprised him even more, he actually saw the police officer explore at Area 51X. Dr. Lane used his symbiote, and they brought him back. Although both have now become military catchers, but the symbiote inside Reagan still reminded Eddie, be sure to protect the hair point. All the symbionts here will swear to defend them to the death. But he wasn't finished. Head of the base, General Crane rushed in with his men. It turns out that after learning a monster that juices people after searching for the Codex and Eddie, he was determined to destroy the Codex, and the best way is to kill the Codex host. He didn't wait for Eddie to react. So the soldiers immediately opened fire on the collective consciousness. Bullets hit the opponent. It didn't work. Just when everyone is at a loss, Reagan on the side suddenly transformed. All rushed out to stop the consciousness. He let the Venom go first, but the next second, it was swallowed by the consciousness. Hide the northwest on the spot. Realizing that the monster is the common enemy of all symbionts, the black girl pressed the button without hesitation. Unleash all symbiotics. Only when a security guard is impaled by a corpse, the symbiote behind the opponent immediately attached will be saved. And then, other symbionts also, parasitic on other humans. Then a symbiotic, and the battle of the ritual body is about to break out. Then he took on the role of combat. A life and death struggle was launched towards the council. And AI also lived up to the protection of the symbiote. Immediately rushed towards the exit. And at the same time, the family of For Searching for Aliens finally reached the 51st inning. However, when they saw the empty American army, exclamation without disappointment. Turns out that aliens don't exist. Who knows the next second to think about. Then I saw that Eddie was only here. The army of symbionts rushed out. No! But then that bodily fluid broke through the blockade and killed it out. Other symbionts can only continue to rise in one. Eddie also immediately took a leap to the watchtower. Although the situation at this time is somewhat embarrassing, he didn't bother to explain too much. The symbiote army is still fighting to the death, and General Crane had no sympathy for them. I saw him carrying the rocket towards the direction of the historical body. The shutdown was detained. In the blink of an eye, a symbiote shop was blown up and the watchtower on the spot where Eddie was located was also critical. Was completely the next second. Seeing his subordinates being caught by a corpse on the spot, Crane immediately rushed out of the car and unexpectedly, he just rescued one of the team members. In the next second, the hand pierced his chest. Eddie on the side saw this. He rushed. Soon, the separated consciousness is restored to its original state. The black girl can only continue to fight when she sees this. The other party suddenly spewed out a yin instantly stripped him from the symbiote. Then the other party takes a cool bite. The last symbiote also fell on the spot in colorful and it got even worse. With the continuous opening of the teleportation gate, more consciousness instantly teleported to the center of the base. Venom of despair, only with injured Eddie, hiding in the ruins of the helicopter, looking at the consciousness that is still searching outside. Even the daily arrogant and domineering him. Dimmed. Does it really have to go so far? Of course not. When he saw the dissolving device on the side, suddenly there are remnants and Eddie was immediately attracted. I saw them walk out of the ruins calm. Then it became the end in front of all consciousness. Immediately after, the conscious body swarmed. But in the next second, the Venom suddenly stretched out after binding all consciousness. He walked towards the launching device step by step. Then he glanced at Crane, who was sitting by the side, that the other party will turn on the device. And when he finally came to the device with consciousness, but suddenly threw Eddie out of his body. By the time Eddie realized it, it was too late. The fingertip accompanies the opening of the device. A large amount of strong acid poured out, and the venom envelops all consciousness, slowly melting away in strong acid. He reached out his tentacles with a little bit of strength and anus for Eddie as cover. Then he tore off all the pipes, and he decided to detonate the device. When Eddie woke up again, I found out he was already lying safely in the hospital bed. That wasn't him. A symbiote of eating and drinking, but not anymore.